Alright, today we're making a video on how to install the cruise control switches on the Nissan 350z. I know it'll work for 07 and 08, the HRs. I'm pretty sure it'll work for the ones from 03 to 08, like all of the 350zs, but I would double check before you start doing this. But mine's a base model, came without cruise control. I want to add it. It'll also give me a lot of, it'll also help me when I get a tune to be able to control my different maps and everything. So we're going to go ahead and start. The first thing you want to do is roll down your windows. After you do that, you're going to disconnect the battery. But before that, let's take a look here. I got these brand new from Concept Z Performance. You get them from Z1 as well, all that kind of stuff. So these are like the brand new switches. This is for the cruise control on this side and the volume and like the radio and stuff. I know it'll work if you have the stock radio. We're gonna find out if it does if you have an aftermarket like I do. These are the two cancel switches that you're gonna set up to your brake and clutch pedal. This is the one with like the ridges that goes on the brake pedal. This is the one that goes on the clutch pedal. Alright, so let's go ahead and disconnect the battery over here. Set it to the side so it's not making contact with any kind of metal. And you just need to disconnect the negative side. Don't worry about the positive side. It's got a lot of fuses and stuff. That should just go ahead and get rid of the power that you have. After that, you want to push the brake a bunch of times just so you can drain any remaining electrical power that's left in the car. Alright, so now we're underneath the steering wheel where your pedals are. This is where we're going to connect the two different sensors. The first one is going to go in the brake thing, like the brakes switch. It plugs in right here and you adjust it based on like the travel here. You want to make sure it cancels correctly, and it's got like a little push pin at the end of it. You want to make sure that's working correctly, and you're going to plug it in to this switch right here, this brown connector that comes installed from factory. That's why this is able to be done. You just plug it into that stock switch location. For the clutch, you're going to be removing, where is it at? So you're going to be removing this piece right there and adjusting that as well for that cancellation switch. And the switch that you're going to plug into that one is going to be this blue one tucked away up here, right there. You just pull that out and plug that one in. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and I'll show you guys what it looks like afterwards. I got both switches installed. This first one right here, got it installed and plugged into that brake switch. Let me see if it'll focus. Okay, so this one, both of these, you just want to make sure that when the pedal is fully released, as in you're not touching it, it's making contact with the switch. So if you move it, it'll release contact with the switch and not be canceled, but when it's touching it, it wants to be canceled. All right, so this one as well over here, just went ahead and took the original little piece out, just a little bolt, kind of like a stopper, and then put the new one in. You just twist it in and then make sure that it's making contact with the release over here. Same situation. If you see that little black part, when it gets pushed in, that means it's canceled. Alright, and then you just plug in the blue switch into that one and the original brown one into that one. And this one, you just push it in until it's canceled, and then you just turn it to this way, to the right, and then it should just lock in place. Alright, now we got to move on to getting that steering wheel and airbag off. Alright, now that we got those installed, we're going to go in and remove these little black caps right here on both sides, and then that'll reveal the Torx bolts that you have to remove. And you want to make sure that you go out and buy the tamper-proof ones. They have a little hole in them. That's the only way you're going to be able to get the airbag out. So let's go ahead and do that real quick. Got that one out, and then as you can see in here, That's got the bolt that we're gonna get out real quick. So let me just grab the torque bits. So we just took out both of the Torx bolts, and then the airbag should just come out at this point. So we're just gonna pull it out here. There we go. And then there's two little things back here. We had to pop these out. So let's see. So we figured it out. You just use like a tiny little screwdriver and pop it into this side right here. You can pull it up. I'm gonna go ahead and do it on this one. Okay, and then those two come out like that. And then you want to set your airbag to the side where you're not going to hit anything. You want to make sure you put it facing up, because you put it facing down and it explodes, then it's going to be a projectile. If you put it like this, it'll just explode and then be contained in that one area. So I'm just going to set it down real gently, and then we can continue here. It's like playing with a bomb. Okay. Next, if you look here, we have a 19 that we're going to go ahead and break loose with the breaker bar, and then we should be able to get the steering wheel off at that point. And then we're also going to disconnect this right here. It's like a ground, it might be for like the horn or something. So we're going to do that, and then we'll get back to you. After you disconnect that, you can see they have it marked here 1, and then this little indentation on the bolt, just so you know it's straight lined up. Before you start this as well, make sure that your wheel is completely straight. So now we're going to use the 19 and see if we can get that off. I'm going to go ahead and remove this. There we go. Remove it from there. Alright, so let's see here. I'm just going to do it with this impact and see if we can make it work. If you don't have one, I would just use like a breaker bar and then a ratchet. So let's see. Okay, so it came off. Now next thing, is a bit of a tip. You don't want to take it all the way off, because when you're pulling on this, it might be hard to remove. So you just want to leave the bolt a little bit on so you can pull on this and not hit yourself in the face with the steering wheel. So there we go. So we got it off. Go ahead and get the nut off. And then feed these cables out. There we go. Steering wheel is removed. Next, we're going to take it out and then get these panels off so we can put the new ones on. Alright, so now we're going to take out these T40s so we can remove that. We're also going to be removing the 2 screws at the back here, 1 on each side, and then afterwards also 1 screw down in there underneath this plastic bit. So let's go ahead and get this off. Alright, now this whole piece should come out. There we go. Then we're going to get that screw and the other 2s on the back here, and then we'll move on and put the new switches in. Okay, so this plastic cover came off with those 3 screws. Now we just got to get these remaining 2, 1 on each side, and then the little blanks should pop out. So we got the switches in there. You just want to put that bottom one back in just so it holds it on both sides. Then you're going to put that plastic cover back on with the top bolt and the one at the bottom here. And you just also want to zip tie your cables to these posts here so that it doesn't move around and get in the way of the horn and make it not work. Alright, so we got it all fixed in there. New buttons are on, horn plates back on, got all of the wires situated. So now we're going to get it back into the car. Alright, so now we're back in here. Originally it came with this red wire in the 3rd hole. The new one comes with a green ground, so we're just going to pull the red one out and then use the one that came with this so we can plug it in directly into there. So quick note, before you put in the new one, remove this gray switch, the original, with just the ground so that you can plug in the new one into the clock spring. Steering wheel's back in, those little Torx screws are back in, and we're all set. Horn works, buttons are on, you're ready for cruise control after you get your ECU reflashed. Or what I'm doing is, I know I'm going to get a tune anyway, so they can flash it and then proceed to do the tune afterwards. Alright guys, thanks for watching. Have a great day.